Spoiler alert! I will touch on some spoilers for the end of Attack on Titan, which the anime has yet to cover. Attack on Titan is one of my favorite anime of all time, and I mean that literally. While some would name One Piece and Bleach as part of the big three, for me the big three are Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Attack on Titan. Technically, they're not released by the same company. Dragon Ball and Naruto are from Shueisha, and Attack on Titan is from Kodansha, but the sentiment still stands. It's a series that challenges the concept of black and white style heroes and villains. It does a very good job of making us question if it's possible for inhuman monsters to maintain their humanity, as well as innocent children becoming hateful warlords. It makes us think heavily about the concept of hatred, and shows us the common phrase, anger begets anger. Throughout this show, we're consistently shown that the term antagonist is the only term to follow, because the term villain doesn't stick to anyone. If I were to try to attach this title to anyone, it would be the original King Fritz who enslaved the world as he began the endless cycle of violence. But it's because of Fritz that we realize that there are no longer any villains in the series. In fact, it's chock full of heroes, as every single one of the antagonists at some point or another willingly plays their part in trying to end the cycle of violence. Even Zeke Jaeger, who during the second and third seasons was consistently shown doing horrible acts against humanity and turning humans into titans to use them as weapons against his enemy. But even he had a grander dream, and it was his own selfless sacrifice that managed to bring the founding titan down. By the end, we're shown that those who were once considered heroes and villains are now sitting under the same roof, attempting to foster the peace they had thought such hardship earned. Even Eren Jaeger, who had gone to the point of villainy, was shown to have been working to help the world. He recognized that the world would never accept his friends and would constantly villainize the Eldians. What he needed was a new Helos, and to make that, he would need a villain for them to slay. They would need a new Karl Fritz, and though Eren's actions could be considered about as bad as the original King Fritz's, he certainly showed that he was trying to play a long game. He was attempting to teach the world the horrors of war and hatred. It's too bad the last chapter revealed that this lesson didn't take. In fact, this hatred is reborn in the form of a new founding titan, which served as a poetic symbol of war as a whole and what it does to people. I could go on forever and ever on this, but I'll spare you any more of my ramblings. To celebrate such a great series, I'd like to recap it for you, starting with the first season, so sit back and kick up your feet. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. To you, in 2,000 years, the fall of Shiganshina. Shiganshina is a peaceful town on the edges of Wall Maria, a massive wall that protects the last of humanity, or so they say, from the man-eating titans who stand outside. Eren Jaeger and Mikasa Ackerman are two children who live a simple life. Mikasa is adopted by Eren's father, Dr. Grisha Jaeger, the man who saved the town from an epidemic in the years prior. Eren dreams of joining the Survey Corps in hopes he can go beyond the walls and explore. However, the Survey Corps, also known as the Scout Regiment, returns home from their most recent outing decimated. Scout Commander Shadis admitting to one of his men's mothers that they'd been dying for nothing and hadn't learned anything new about the Titans, and that he's merely been marching his men into the meat grinder. Despite this, Eren remains adamant that he wants to join, and Mikasa then rats on him, which works his mother into a lather because she doesn't want to lose her baby boy to man-eating Titans. She wants him to remain safe within the walls. But Eren isn't content with life within the walls. He feels that trading his freedom for a safe life within walls makes them no different than cattle. Grisha hears how adamant Eren is about this and thinks it would be a waste of time to scold him on it, and instead shows him a key and promises to take him to the basement to show him something when he returns from a business trip. However, this doesn't happen because at around the time Grisha leaves, a loud explosion is heard and a massive titan so large that the world has never seen anything like it before is found towering over the walls. With a swift kick of its colossal foot, it kicks the gate in and allows the titans through. This colossal titan then disappears as quickly as it appeared. Eren and Mikasa rush home only to find their mother crushed under the collapsed home. They attempt to get her out, but a smiling Titan spots them and prepares to attack. The garrison regiment's Hannes rushes to their rescue and says he'll just kill the Titan. However, upon truly seeing it, all of that bluster turns to hot air and he rushes back, leaving Carla to die, saving only Eren and Mikasa. This moment scars Eren forever and causes him to vow to kill every Titan in the world. Just as they board a ship to Wall Rose, the second of 3 walls, another Titan, one covered in thick armor, crashes through the second gate, completely compromising the area within Wall Maria. Upon getting to Wall Rose, they meet up with Armin Arlelt, a friend of theirs who also wishes to see what's beyond the walls. Together, they live in a refugee camp where he sees that the citizens of Wall Rose aren't as happy about their presence as it seems. It's revealed that, with the way the walls are formed, that Wall Rose and Sina simply cannot sustain themselves and the citizens of Wall Maria without starving, and so an expedition to retake Wall Maria is formed of regular citizens, which is no more than a suicide mission to either retake Wall Maria or die due to the lack of food. Everyone involved dies, including Armin's grandfather, who was his last living relative. All 3 freshly orphaned decide that they would rather join the scouts than cower in fear, so they decide to do so. Oh, did I mention that Eren now spontaneously possesses the key to the Jaeger family's basement? Yeah, he has that now, and it will play a big part later in the story. We skip forward to basic training, where Eren, Mikasa, and Armin all join the 104th Cadet Corps under drill instructor Keith Shadis, disgraced and removed, or was it that he retired, from his position as scout commander. But we're not supposed to know this yet. I'm letting you know because we all should by this time. Along the way, we meet various characters. Sasha Brausch, the girl who loves meat, and is lovingly known as Potato Girl due to her eating a tater during her first time on screen. We then meet Connie Springer, considered the second half of Sasha, together making up the comedy relief of which this series unsurprisingly lacks. We meet Reiner Braun, Annie Leonhardt, and Berthold Hoover. I'm sure you know who they are, or you should be watching Attack on Titan instead of a recap. There's also Krista Lenz, who will just call his story a reset of simplicity, and Ymir, the other one, not the founding Titan. Throughout their time here, these people all excel at everything, earning them top spots and allowing them to choose where they will serve. All of them except for Eren, who can't even stand up straight on the ODM gear's wires. But the longer he tries, the better he gets, and when he can hold himself up for a relatively long time, he falls again. He thinks he'll be sent home, but it turns out Keith Shadis has been sabotaging Eren as a favor to his late mother, who just so happens to be an old flame of his. He was impressed how well Eren was doing without an integral part of his belt that would ensure that he keep his balance. With a proper belt, Eren proved to be better at using ODM gear than any and all of them. It's not long from now that Eren and Armin find themselves bonding with Reiner and Berthold, who both speak of their dreams of returning to their hometown as victorious warriors. This is all to build up the emotional charge when these two inevitably go the path of Hail Hydra on us. Well, approximately 5 years after the fall of Shiganshina, the 104th Cadet Corps graduates, and they hilariously all join the Scout Corps, which is the one thing nobody ever wants to do because it's the most dangerous, and generally considered the most useless. The only one who joins the military police would be Annie. From here, the recruits begin to do their duty at Trost. They're just having casual conversation, with Sasha being the one who steals some meat from the commander's storehouse, where she plans to make sandwiches. All seems to be going good until a familiar lightning bolt strikes outside of the walls. Eren leads the counterattack against the Colossal Titan, but the Colossal releases its steam to push him back. By the time he pushes through, the Colossal is gone. Eren had hoped to stop it, but by this time it's already too late. The wall was kicked in and Titans start to pour through. They rush to stop the Titans, but Eren loses an arm and a leg in the ordeal, getting eaten in Armin's place as the rest of their squad is decimated by the hungry hippos. Armin just sits there squealing like a shoujo anime protag as Eren is eaten. Eren wakes up inside of the Titan where he finds he's not alone. There are dead people floating in the stomach acid, and there's at least one other who's alive like him, begging not to die before their head goes below the surface, presumably drowning. In a moment of terror, Eren transforms into a Titan himself, coming out through the Titan's mouth. Meanwhile, Mikasa and her group are running out of gas. They need to resupply, but the base has Titans surrounding it. That's when Mikasa finds Armin and hears Eren is dead. She does well hiding it, but her 3D maneuvering is very angry, and she uses up all of her gas, smashing into a wall like a bug on a windshield, and then falling to the ground where she's surrounded by 2 Titans. To her surprise though, one of the Titans attacks the other and kills it, and then leaves her behind. Seeing the anger of this Titan, Armin comes up with a plan to use this Titan to take out the other Titans around the base. This actually goes swimmingly, and they get into the outpost. However, there is a new problem. Smaller Titans are now inside the outpost in the supply room, so Armin makes a new plan which involves lowering scouts down an elevator to be bait. They will then pull their muskets and shoot the Titans in the eyes, while Group 2 in the rafters will come down and slice the nape of the neck. This also works, and they do get refueled. Leaving the outpost, they see the new Titan collapse from exhaustion. However, this is no mere Titan. As it begins to decay, they see a person coming out of the nape. Mikasa rushes down to him and is utterly ecstatic that he's still alive. She cries out in happiness and relief. Together, they escape deeper into Wall Rose, where they're surrounded by more scouts who hold them at gunpoint. It turns out they're terrified of Eren, thinking he's an enemy to mankind, and Eren, in his drunken daze from his first Titan transformation, seemingly confirms this by saying, "I'll kill them all." He meant Titans, but then again, saying that without context after turning into the biggest thing humanity fears just doesn't look good. They try to shoot a cannonball at them, but Eren catches it midair with his Titan hand, which only makes things worse. But Mikasa and Eren decide to trust Armin to talk them out of it. Funny enough, Armin fails, but he gets lucky because Garrison Regiment Commander Dot Pixis shows up and stops them from firing. He then takes them aside and begins to ask if what Armin said was true. Could they use Eren's new powers as a way to retake Trost? Armin states it was true. They could use Eren to lift a boulder near the wall to close the hole in it, and they begin to do so. A group of scouts will stand at the wall to lure the Titans in to thin out the group closest to the wall. Eren jumps down there and transforms, but instead of lifting the rock, it attempts to punch Mikasa and knocks its marbles loose. Armin gets on top and tries to salvage the mission by waking Eren up. Eren manages to come to his senses and pick up the rock. They protect him as he places the rock and seals the inside of the town. Tuckered out, they start to retreat back to Wall Rose, but are surrounded. Good thing Levi just got to town. Levi dispatches the Titans in a way only Levi could, and they bring them back to the wall. The scouts manage to exterminate all of the Titans, and then they begin to count the bodies. They find Marco Bot. You probably didn't even know he existed until after he was dead. I didn't know him until then, at least. He's been bitten in half the long way, and he's then identified by Jean. Eren ends up in prison though, where he will face a military tribunal, where the heads of the military, particularly Commander-in-Chief Zachary, will decide whether he's a threat to humanity or its greatest hope. Well, after stomping a hole in Eren's rear, Levi convinces him that it's Hope. He's then transferred to Team Levi, which consists of Hanji Zoe and a bunch of other people I don't care to name right now because they're not going to live very long. During this time, they're sent to a castle away from the main base to live, and the first order of business is cleaning. Once that's done, they proceed to do some tests, and Eren seems unable to transform. That is, until he accidentally transforms to pick up a spoon. Levi's squad nearly decapitates Eren on the spot, but Levi stops them. Eren is hurt that they don't trust him, but later they apologize, and to show their true intents to understand him, they bite their own hands to draw blood like Eren has to do. Eren also sits through a 6-hour lecture by Hanji on the Titans. They manage to capture 2 Titans that Hanji names Sani and Bean. She asks Eren to be her assistant in studying these creatures. However, during the night, somebody sneaks in and kills the 2 Titans. At this time, Erwin Smith, the new head of the Scout Regiment, approaches Eren and asks who he thinks the real enemy is. When Eren is confused, Smith dismisses it. They have an investigation on who might have done it, but the findings are inconclusive. After this, Eren catches up with his old squad as they prepare for the next expedition. The plan is to get to Shiganshina to get to Eren's basement, where they might find out what the heck a Titan even is and why Eren can turn into one. They set off on the expedition, but they're attacked by a new strange Titan, the one that is simply known as the female Titan, due to its abnormally effeminate appearance. This thing ignores most humans, though it targets others, but only those with their hoods down. It's revealed that this Titan is also sentient, much like Eren, and thus must also be a human who can turn into a Titan. After nearly killing Reiner, it heads off towards the center where Eren is believed to be. However, they lead it into a trap and capture it, but before it can do anything, it calls Titans with its scream, and allows the other Titans to eat it. Erwin Smith knows that this was a tactic so that the shifter inside could escape. The female Titan reappears and resumes its chase on Eren, in which Levi's squad decides to defend him. But Levi's squad is exterminated, with only Eren, Levi, and Hanji surviving, only because the latter 2 weren't nearby. Eren shifts into his Titan form as well, but seemingly is no match for this Titan that knows karate, and gets his head taken off. Eren is seemingly eaten, but Levi thinks it's not true when they give chase. Mikasa is very emotional and thus reckless. However, when Levi helps her center herself, they manage to stop the Titan and free Eren. They escape from the Titans by leaving the bodies of their comrades behind, which they normally never do if they can help it. But given that the Titans were catching up, it was the only way. They return in shame to Trost, where Eren is then captured and sent to Walsina, the innermost wall. However, this is an elaborate ruse to get the female Titan to reveal itself. Due to Armin's big brain moments, they deduce that the female Titan is likely Annie Leonhardt, so they plan to lead her underground where she can't shift if it's true, and they plan to interrogate her to see. Armin calls in a favor to Annie to get her to help rescue Eren before he's killed, but it turns out that this was a trap, and as soon as she sees them trying to take her underground, she knows the jig is up. She refuses to go down, and the scouts take action to keep her from transforming, but she had a ring with a hook in it, and she uses that to draw blood so she can transform into a Titan. She tries to get Eren, but she crushes him under rubble instead. He doesn't transform, and Mikasa surmises that it's because he liked Annie, and he couldn't transform because he didn't have the will to fight. Annie attempts to flee, but she's held down by the scouts until Eren gets over his emotions and manages to transform. He rushes out to get her, but he's still outclassed. He's put on the ground by Annie, but his rage sends his regeneration into overdrive, and he goes berserk, turning into a flaming madman and manages to wound her. She tries to escape the wall by climbing it, but Mikasa saws off her fingers and lets her fall. Eren attempts to pull her out and eat her, but is stopped by Levi. Annie then coats herself in crystal and goes to sleep until season 4. After this, Erwin Smith is asked to take responsibility for all the civilians killed during this operation, and his response is basically, I got it done, and I'm gonna find more smart Titans and use them to kill the other dumb Titans. Meanwhile, Eren stays with the scout regiment, and Annie, who is comatose inside the crystal, is put under the custody of the scouts. As the season draws to a close, we witness the wall where Annie was attempting to escape as a Titan crumble, and within the hole we witness multiple Titans, each one close to the same size and shape as the colossal Titan that attacked Shiganshina. And there we have it. That is the entirety of Attack on Titan Season 1 recap. I hope you enjoyed. I absolutely cannot wait until the final third of the 4th season. I already know what's gonna happen because I couldn't wait and just binged the rest of the manga, but I still can't wait to see it animated, fully voice acted, besides my impersonations while reading, which admittedly weren't that great, and full of that beautiful Hiroyuki Sawano music. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite scenes of Attack on Titan were and to tell us who your favorite characters are. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you want YouTube to notify you when we drop more content like this. Until next time, peace.